Hi, I'm Beth. I'm a knitter from the north suburbs of Chicago who works full-time as a paraprofessional, so I have the summers off, and that gives me time to talk about my knits on YouTube. I'll be doing this for the summer, and when the fall comes, I'll reassess from there. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate all the likes, subscribes, comments, anything anyone has to contribute. I will reply, like, and we'll have a conversation. Right now, I'm pretty warm wearing this lovely fall jacket, so I'm going to talk about it so I can take it off. This is the Seed Stitch jacket, and there is no designer name. In Vogue Knitting magazine, where I got the pattern. So if anybody knows who the designer of this jacket is, I would gladly credit them. However, this was in the winter 2004/05 issue, and it is, as you can see, mostly seed stitch. I will be inserting some videos of me doing a little turn with it on, and it is knit in Burly Spun. Wait a minute. Brown Sheep Burly Spun. That's the base. And this is a super bulky yarn, and it is 100% wool, so it is very woolly and warm, and it is not a superwash, but it's surprisingly soft for a non-superwash item. I don't know that I would want to wear this all day long with no sleeves, which is what I'm doing right now because it's the middle of summer. So I am going to go ahead and take this off because I am warm. And what did I want to say about that? Oh, this is something that I knit in, not right when the magazine came out. I was subscribed to the magazine. That stayed, probably just hung around for a long time, and it was like on my mind. It's one of those where I was like, you know, any of you who've been around for a while know I love a good texture. And this has a good texture. It's seed stitch. It had been on my mind for a really long time that I wanted to do this, but I wanted to do it in the original yarn because I liked the color, I liked the texture, and I wanted to get exactly how they had done it on the magazine. This is not my current MO. I rarely do something in the yarn that it's designed in. So this one, I decided I'm gonna splurge on this someday. And at the time we had small children, and it wasn't in the budget. So it waited for many years before I actually bought the yarn. And then, because I was not an everyday knitter, it took me some time to get through, and it went by the wayside for months and years at a time. I think it probably was one of those that, you know, I knitted a bit of it and then decided, all right, this needs to rest for a while. And I didn't have other projects on my needles because I was of a mind that I'm never going to finish it if I put it to the side. I was not a multiple project doer. I was a monogamous knitter. And that's what took me years to finish things. So since coming into this world of knitters, I have been enabled to do multiple projects at a time. And when something takes a back seat, I do end up coming back to it quicker because I know that it's there usually. I know that it's there and it's waiting to be done. I usually have a project page for it on Ravelry ready to, add pictures and put in notes about. But this one, I didn't even know what Ravelry was. So I don't know when Ravelry came into existence, but I know it was probably after 2010 that I started this. And there's a very specific reason for that, and I will get to that at the end when I'm doing the chit-chatty stuff. The next thing I want to talk about is this tank top. Those who have been with me for a while have seen this. I believe it was episode 1, maybe 2. Anyway, this is the Malaga Tank. It is a pattern by Alison green, and it is done in Berroco Modern Cotton DK in the colorway Waterman Pond. And that has a color number associated with it. Let me look. 6685 for those who are interested. The reason that I'm wearing this again is because when I showed it, I had talked about washing it and blocking it. And I wanted to show the difference between when I washed it and on my first time showing it, I washed it and just put it in the dryer for a few minutes, because this being cotton, it can go in the dryer. I put it in the dryer for a few minutes and then laid it flat so that the detail on the bottom wouldn't curl up and be all funky. So I wanted to do a follow-up with this to show how the bottom hem looked after washing and drying it twice now since my first recording, and showing how much, if any, it has shrunken. So I will do, hopefully I can find a picture from the first episode where I can compare side by side so you can see. And I think this looks great. I like, it might be a little bit shorter. I even think like the armholes shrunk some because I thought that I could see my bra before at the bottom of the armhole, which I can't see it now. That's my follow-up on the Malaga Tea. So I think I'm really happy with this because I don't know about you, but for me, the less work something is, the more I'm going to wear it. So some of my hand knits I don't wear all that often because the washing process is hand wash and lay flat to dry. So they sort of take a back seat to my regular everyday t-shirts and things like that. Next, we're on to whips. My first whip is Free by VB Ulrik, which comes from Rowan Magazine 71. And it is being knit in Rowan Cotton Cashmere in the Colorway Seed. This is the sweater in all its glory. I am doing it on a very large circular needle. So instead of putting stitches on hold, I had plenty of room on these circular needles to go ahead and just keep knitting the one side without taking the rest of the stitches off my needles. So the accomplishment this week was the right side of the cardigan. So if you'll see, this is how it wraps around, and This marker is where I was last time. So I did all of this, and it took me from, I think I started Wednesday night after recording Wednesday morning, afternoon. And it took me through the weekend probably. And that's knitting on and off with other projects too. So this texture, I feel like I need to show it every episode because I love it so much. I just can't wait to wear this sweater. But it's gonna be a while because the next step is doing the back. And if it took me a few days to do one side, it's probably gonna take a full week of dedicated just that if I want to finish the back. And I have more stuff I want to knit, so I like to switch up my projects because when I'm monogamous, it's gonna take me longer because I frequently say, forget this project for now because it's frustrating me because I like a challenge. And when I do that, when I go with those challenges, I end up getting frustrated with them and setting them aside for a while and thinking about other challenges. That's just how my knitting life goes. I wanted to say, I have been talking about this project since the beginning, and I've never talked about the bag it lives in. Oh wait, this is not the bag it lives in. Where's the bag it lives in? Oh, it's in my lap. This bag, I love this bag. It is Anomalous Mind, and I believe I found her on Etsy, and I think it was Chevyrel who mentioned this bag company before that made me say, I need to look at her. Anyhow, Anomalous Mind, beautiful bag, beautiful sweater, and it will get more love this week. I just don't know how much. My next whip is Sea Haven by Jennifer Shiels Toland of JST Designs. I am knitting it in Sandnes Garn, and it's living in my Spikes Strike tote that I crocheted and talk about in episode 1. It is coming along, but slowly. But that's because I'm working on other things. So I worked on this quite a bit last night. Oh, it's all bunched up because it's on needles. But Sandnes Garn in the colorway 8236, Jellybean green. Anybody who saw the episode where I got the yarn delivery in the middle, this is the one. And this is all the lovely texture, which I should have blocked. I should have blocked it before I recorded. That would have been nice. Next week, I'll block this. In fact, the designer, I believe, recommends blocking after you finish the yoke. So I will do that. I can't promise I'll finish the yoke before next week. I feel like I'm close though. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I haven't knit enough sweaters to know when I'm done with the yoke. So that is Sea Haven. That's where I am. I will say, something that slowed me down on this I was knitting along, and you know, it's with a texture, with a pattern, it's all just knits and purls. There's no twists, there's no cables, nothing complicated here. Knits and purls. And I thought I knew what I was supposed to do. And for 2 rows, I was off on where the purl stitches should be, because instead of reading the chart, I decided, I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep going. So I had to go back 2 rows, and you know, I was extra time I didn't need to take to do this, and good thing is it didn't go to the side when that happened, because I had the patience to deal with it. I feel like I'm at a point now in knitting where even some of the frustrating things I get less frustrated with, because it happens all the time. Is that just me? Am I just careless with reading patterns and knowing what colors go where or what stitches go where? I'm getting used to undoing stuff. It's just part of the process now. All right, next whip. My next whip is Nomad Tea by Jennifer Illsley of Unwind Knitwear. And it is a sideways knit t-shirt with color work down the center. And it is being knit in Suburban Stitcher sock in the colorway River's Edge, as well as Starstruck, also by Suburban Stitcher in her sock base. And my contrast colors are Cascade Heritage fingering in the colorway Passion Flower, and Long Dog Yarns Bounce Sock in the colorway Olive You Too. So I am loving how this color work is coming out, and it's bunched up on the needles, but you can see how it's all coming together. Now, the pattern gives you instructions to do it either mosaic or as stranded color work. And I decided to go ahead with stranded color work. I have experience with mosaic, but not so much with color work. So here's my floats. I'd say they're a little on the loose side, but when it's something I'm new to, I'd rather have them loose than too tight and have the fabric be bunchy when I'm wearing it. So I think it's gonna be okay. I don't know. I really like how this is coming out. I think I'm gonna love it when it's done. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see this done. And it takes forever. It's fingering weight yarn. I'm not used to knitting fingering weight stuff as much because that thicker yarn just goes faster. And personally, I prefer doing those thicker things because you get your satisfaction of a job complete much faster. But so be it. I know I'm gonna love this when I'm done. That's Nomad Tea. Now, I have been talking for weeks about the fact that I do a lot of sock knitting, and that I have not been doing as much sock knitting prior to this recording during the summer. So I showed my project bag last week. This is from MLD Threads on Etsy, and I did not show what was inside it. So I had committed to walking twice before recording again, and I did that by Sunday. Actually, I think I said already that I record on Wednesdays. So Wednesday night, I had planned to go to the forest preserve nearby with my son, and my husband had said he would decide whether or not he wants to come with us at the last minute. So we all three went to the forest preserve. We were waiting for it to cool off after my husband got off of work because it was a hot day here in the Midwest. We get a lot of humidity. Heat doesn't always get that high, but the humidity makes it unbearable because we're right here by the Great Lakes. Anyway, it was a nice night. It was a very nice night, and we knew that at sunset they would lock the gates to the parking lot. So we were trying to beat sunset walking around this 3.5 mile path. And I think they underestimated how big this path was, because we were about halfway around the path and it had taken us 45 minutes to get halfway around a 3.5 mile path. I don't think they were right. However, for that first half, I was knitting these socks. This is a vanilla sock that I'm knitting. I cast on 64 stitches. I do a 2x2 rib, which you can probably see here. I decrease in the leg down to 56 stitches, and then I like to do a good 90 round leg. Now I'm trying to remember, it's been so long since I've done these, I don't remember if that includes the cuff. I'll have to look back. I have written some things out on Ravelry notes for myself that if anybody wants to take a look at my vanilla socks, it's right in there. Anyway, this yarn is Western Sky Knits on her Sparkle sock base. I don't think this had a colorway on the label. I had purchased from her it was like a grab bag of Sparkle sock, and she still has it on her website. I saw that she still has this base it's a 3 skein grab bag, and I think it was $45 for the 3 skeins. So that's a great deal to me. Especially, I mean, it's sparkle. Look at how sparkly these are. I don't know if that shows up on camera really well, but I can't wait to wear these. Anyway, it's going to be a while because I haven't been wearing socks during the summer. But my walking experience with this bag, I can hold it by the handle. Now, as I walk, this thing twists, and the yarn can get twisted up around that. So might not be the best option for walking and knitting, but it's what I have and what I will use for now. I have seen that there are other bags that have like a cloth thing that you can just like stick your arm through. So I may be on the lookout for something like that if I decide that I do want to continue, because I have to say the experience of walking and knitting was not as pleasant as I had hoped for. It was hard managing the yarn and everything. So plus the fact that I was walking with 2 other people and we're trying to like keep pace together, so I felt like every time I needed to like untangle yarn or something that I was slowing them down. Plus we were trying to beat the sunset so that we could get out of the park. with our cars instead of having to walk home. I did not want to walk home after a 3.5-mile walk around the forest preserve. I mean, it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong, the scenery was beautiful. It was great to see all that nature. There was a baby bunny along the way. And in fact, I should put in pictures here of, I actually walked with my husband in a different forest preserve. So I've got pictures from different places that I can put up here while I talk. So there was a lot of birds that we saw along the way. There was a lot of, it was a gravel pathway, so we were kicking up a lot of dust, so all of our shoes are really dirty. But, you know, that's part of being out in nature, and I don't care. My shoes were dirty for a couple of days after that, and, you know, I had to brush them off, and they're fine. But it was a lot of fun. And then I also walked another time through the neighborhood with my husband, and I did some knitting that time. I don't think I'm gonna make another goal for walking this week, just because it didn't excite me that much, and I don't feel like I need that because I won't move my body otherwise. That's my story about my walking socks. Now I have another whip of socks. We'll see if these socks show up again anytime soon, because I have not been working on them other than the walking. This next pair, I haven't touched them. I haven't touched them since the summer began. In fact, it's been even longer than that, because, let me show them to you. Okay, this one actually has a pattern. The pattern is Limeno by MediaPeruana, and it's got a great texture. If you can see, it is a top down, a cuff down. It's a cabled sock. It's hard to see. This is another sparkle base. I thought that I would be able to see black better with the sparkle base, because I thought the stitch definition might come out better, or that, like, just seeing it, you know, while you're knitting would be better with the sparkle in it. I don't know if that's true or not, because I need daylight to knit these socks. So there's cable on the front, and then there's this really cool stitch pattern on the back. She calls it something, twisted moss stitch. So it's fun to knit. I like the cables and the moss stitch. It's fun to do something different on a sock, but this sparkle sock base does not have any nylon in it. It is 100% wool. And so because of that, I am thinking when I do the heels and toes, I want to reinforce it with some nylon thread, so that hopefully I'll have less chance of snagging and getting holes in my socks. So that's my plan. I have the nylon thread. I just haven't started yet, because I think where I'm at in this one, you know, these two, is that I am ready to do the heels. So that's why I kind of pumped the brakes on this one, because I wanted to hold it together with the nylon. So those are my socks. New to me is this yarn, which I showed a picture of last week, but did not get to show live on video. And I feel like a turn in front of the, there's a hair on it. a turn in front of the camera is so much better than just seeing a picture. They sent me this lovely stitch marker with each skein, and it's not focusing, I don't think. Anyway, this adorable stitch marker that blends in with the yarn, and it is from Brenda and Heather Yarns. They go by Ba Yarns on Instagram if you're looking to follow them. Colorway is Slice of Summer on their Tough Toes base, which is 80% superwash, 20% nylon. And I can't wait to make these little watermelon socks. If you could see, they will be just like watermelons, even with seeds and everything. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to make these. So hopefully by next week, these will be cast on. Maybe I should cast on a bunch of socks this week. Maybe I should, I don't know. That's how my knitting goes. I just kind of go wherever the wind blows me. When I feel like doing stuff, I do it. Because why would you do it if it didn't make you happy, right? That's why things go to the side for a while. And this week, yesterday, I was watching some of Chevyrel's old YouTube videos, and she talks about things going on, I'm not going to say the word, FU Island. And I don't know if I never watched her very first episodes, but yeah, if you don't know who she is, you should go and watch her now. Chevyrel's stuff on YouTube. She does very sporadic posts. She posts when she's feeling like posting, and you know, sometimes it's a long time in between, but she's a good time. She's a lot of fun to watch. If you haven't seen her, go check her out. But yeah, that's her phrasing of it. Sometimes that's how I feel about it. And the other thing I wanted to talk about this week was prompted by not only this magazine, but also the time of year that it is. And something that made me think there was a connection between these two things is an article in this magazine about a celebrity who knits. Here it is. Anybody recognize this woman? Her name is Karen Allen. She was the lead actress in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And the reason that I connected her with my personal life is because tomorrow, June 30th, will be my son Austin's 19th birthday. And Austin was a special needs child who had a Make-A-Wish trip to Disney World in 2009. And when we went there, we saw a Raiders of the Lost Ark show. And it was a live action show where, you know, they did a whole bunch of stunts and everything. And it was a lot of fun. And we got to meet the stars of the show as part of our Make-A-Wish experience. And it's funny because that was the one thing from that trip that stands out in my mind as like, this is what a Make-A-Wish trip is supposed to be. There was an usher there who saw that we were with Make-A-Wish, and he escorted us in, gave us front row seats, said, we're going to arrange for you to meet the actors after the show. Stay right here when the show is over. We'll bring them out to you. And I mean, it was just such a great, like, unbelievable experience. And the star of the show, the one who played the role of Indiana Jones, gave Austin a hat. He gave him an Indiana Jones hat. And I will put pictures up. I'm sure I have something from that trip. There's got to be pictures of the hat. Anyway, Austin was born in 2003 with DeGeorge syndrome, which is a rare genetic anomaly. And he had a tracheotomy. He had a G-tube that he fed through. He had cardiac issues. He had heart surgery when he was 8 days old. Again, when he was, I don't know, 3 or 4. And he passed away from a bacterial infection in his intestines when he was 6 years old. And he was close to his 7th birthday, but didn't quite make it. So Austin is my youngest son, and he would have been 19 tomorrow. And I just, thinking about this connection with Raiders of the Lost Ark and how I can connect him to the knitting world is kind of cool to me. So I want to say happy birthday, Austin. We miss you. That's all I have for you today. No new things since the last time, but I will definitely be getting some things soon. I have things that I've ordered and I'm expecting them to be delivered hopefully before next week. And I want to wish you all a happy Independence Day in America, and be safe, knit and be happy, or don't knit, but still be happy. I will catch you next week. Thank you again for watching, and please, please like, subscribe, comment. It helps me get out there more. It helps people to see me, and I can see from the analytics on my channel that a lot of you are coming back for multiple videos and watching more videos on my channel. So I appreciate that. And in order to help me grow, subscribe, comment. I'll reply. All right. Thanks again. I will see you next week.